Sanıyorum sabrımızın da sonuna geldik. Ama öncelikle sorularınızı almak istiyorum. En arkadan galiba bir kişi. Kime sorunuzu yöneltmek istiyorsanız lütfen.
Hocam, Levent Özay Mayıs'a Aktoloni Bey'e, Sayın Aktoloni Bey'e sormak istiyorum. Şimdi Genel Başkanımızın açış konuşmasında Dünya Muhasebe Kongresi'nde bir dergiden ve bu dergide de Prens Charles'ın bir yazısından bahsettiler. Prens Charles'ın yazısı bence de önemli çünkü İngiltere'de bu konuda bir adım attığı zaman önemli bir adımdır. Şimdi burada ki anladığım kadarıyla KOBİ meslek mensuplarının önemi, yani biraz daha bunları kullanalım iç denetimde, ekonomide, kamu kurumlarında vesaire gibi denetimlerle ilgili. Bakıyoruz, ekonomide de bir küreselleşme de devam ediyor. Yani küreselleşmeyi savunuyoruz ya da küreselleşme büyüme oluyor. 4 büyükten bahsediliyor, Arthur Anderson mantığından bahsediliyor. Böyle bir, yani ekonomik globalleşirken meslek mensuplarının, KOBİ meslek mensuplarının denetim ayağının önemsenmesi, yani önemsenmeyelim deniyor. Sayın Aktoloni ne diyor bu konuda? Teşekkür ederim.
Thank you for your question. Actually, it is not SMPs and SMEs are becoming more important. They always have been very important. If I, with your permission, I will put it this way. SMPs constitute the majority of the accountancy profession globally. So, of the 2.5 million accountants that are members of IFAC member bodies, so the accountancy profession in the world, 2.5 million people, a vast majority works in SMP, small and medium practices. And the simple reason for this is that the vast majority of the global economy is made up of small and medium enterprises. No matter how big or how developed the economy is, still small and medium enterprises lead in every developed nation in terms of jobs, employment created, and in terms of gross domestic product. There might be differences from one country to another. In some developed countries, SMEs are over 90%. In some other countries, they are over 50, over 60%. But still, they are the majority of the economy. And clearly, small and medium enterprises have a special relationship with their own trusted advisor to small and medium practices. So that's why small and medium practices are the backbone of the accountancy profession globally and are so important to the economy of the world. Clearly, as the small and medium enterprises are facing more complex environments and have to address more different, more complex problems, the small and medium practices also have to grow and have to change and adapt to change. And that's the challenge for all of us and the challenge for the future which is in front of us. But we have always been able to adapt to change, and I'm very confident that the accountancy profession will be able to adapt to change in the future as well. Clearly the pace of change is now much faster than it used to be in the past. So we need to focus on our strategy and have a clear view of what's ahead of us. And this is exactly the job that we are trying to do at the IFAC Small and Medium Practices Committee. So we try to use all the resources and the network, the global network that we have, to gain insight into the future of the profession and to help you share into that knowledge and into that insight so that every SNP in the world is able to do some good strategic planning and get the best access to strategic information on future developments as anyone else. So this is, we believe, the job of the Small and Medium Practices Committee, to be the strategic engine of the SNPs of the world.
Teşekkürler. Başka sorusu olan var mı? Buyurun.
My question is to Mr. Giancarlo Ottolini. And as a person working for Italian company, I would like to say benvenuto and buon giornata. And as a compliment, I experienced you guys have a really good accounting and auditing skills, Italians. And coming back to my question, I believe Pareto rules applies to and valid for the number of companies in Turkey, meaning more than 80% of the companies are small and medium-sized entities, and less than 20% of the companies are big companies. Therefore, it is quite important to influence the majority. And as chartered accountants, majority of us are serving to small and medium-sized entities. And at this point, I believe it's a really good source and to global knowledge gateway you mentioned. However, and unfortunately, it is not widely known in Turkey. So I believe at this point, our chambers or TÜRMOP could promote those, the library and accessible tools in their websites as well. And the second thing, as Naib Sanlı stated in the morning session, there is a big difference in the threshold for audit requirements between EU and Turkey. Do you think IFAC could support TÜRMOP for influencing PCA OB in Turkey in order to improve the quality of accounting and audit? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Grazie, if I may say that in Italian. When you address the share of companies that are small and medium-sized in Turkey, 80%, and those that are large, 20%, that's no big difference from most other developed countries in the world or in Europe. So Turkey is really no exception. It's quite a general rule. So small and medium entities are by number the largest share of the economy, and also in terms of GDP, they usually provide the largest part of GDP and employment within any economy. On the Global Knowledge Gateway and promoting it, I do understand it's pretty new, and I understand we need to do a lot in terms of promotion and getting new fellow accountants to know it and to use it. Actually, I remember I was in April here, and not here in Izmir, at another conference we had in Turkey. You invited kindly me. And I spoke in April for the first time about the Global Knowledge Gateway, because it had just been launched at the end of March. So it's a relatively new concept within IFAC as well, but we will try our best from now on to promote it and to get as many small and medium accountants around the world to use it and to get on it. And I'm sure that Turmob and the Istanbul Chamber will be doing a great job in helping us promote it. They've always done. It is clearly a matter of working together. I mean, IFAC always work together with its member organizations, and in this case with Turmob. Whether IFAC can do or can help Turmob and the chambers in Turkey on issues concerning audit and assurance. Yes, for sure, we are trying to do our best in terms of improving the quality of audit. The IAASB has a big project on audit quality that you might have heard about. There are big new standards on disclosures due to come from the IAASB, but also a big change in the format of the audit report that was also discussed this morning by previous speakers. But also, as a Small and Medium Practices Committee, we try our best to make tools and guides which can help the small and medium practices implement the audit standards in a small and medium enterprise environment to make sure that these standards can really be scaled down and applied in a proportional way, even within a small entity. When you do the audit on an insurance service on a small audit. We probably cannot do anything directly in influencing your audit oversight board or the Turkish government, I regret this, but we can do a great job together with the Turkish profession in promoting the quality of audit and in promoting the work that the accounting and auditing profession does in the public interest. I think it is of fundamental importance to realize that the work of our profession is in the public interest. So audit is performed in the public interest. And there is a public interest behind every audit. So when a government decides to give up statutory audit, they decide to give up a public service in a way, because there is less safeguard for the public interest in the economy. Clearly there has to be a compromise and some kind of balancing between the size of the entity and the requirement for audit. But I was quite struck this morning when I listened to the size of companies and the thresholds for statutory audit that are currently employed in Turkey. I would say that they are very high, probably too high, and I strongly question whether the public interest is well served by having so few audits. So, it's not something that we can do at IFAC, but it's something that the accounting profession can do, working together, working in the public interest and making sure our client and the community, the society understand that our work is in the public interest.
Thank you. Bir konuda bir şey eklemek istiyorum. Mr. Attolini söyleyince ben de bunu paylaşmak gereği duydum. Sanıyorum Aralık 2012 idi. AISPA'nın Journal of Accountancy dergisinde bir makale çıktı. Amerika'da sessiz devrim diye. Devrim şuydu, aslında Amerika dediğimiz ülkede bile en büyük pazarı non-public dediğimiz şirketler pazarı veya işte işletmeler pazarı oluşturuyor. Ve PCOB sadece halka açık şirketlerle ilgili standartlar yayınlıyor ve yayınladığı standartları da AISPA'nın standartlarından devşiriyor. Yani asıl bu konuda mutfak AISPA denilen meslek örgütü ve nerede iyi bir uygulama varsa PCOB'de onu adapte eden bir kurum. Ve sessiz devrimde şöyle oldu. Ocak 2013'te Amerika bütün genel kabul görmüş denetim standartlarına açıklık projesine paralel bir projeyle olduğu gibi uluslararası denetim standartlarına adapte etti. Yani orada küçük, orta ölçekli, hatta sermaye piyasasında faaliyet gösteren şirketlerden daha büyük şirketler var. Onların mali tabloları da uluslararası denetim standartlarına uygun olarak denetleneceği, böylece Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'nde de gerçekleştirilmiş oldu. Ama o ülkede şöyle bir güzellik daha var. FASB denilen teşkilat da bağımsız muhasebe standartları yayınlıyor. Yani muhasebe konusunda tereddütsüz insanlar birleşiyorlar. Vergi için muhasebe falan herhalde en komik şeydir gelişmiş ülkeler için ifade etmek gerekirse bizim ülkemizde muhasebeyi böyle güdümlü bir meslek olmaktan çıkarmak ve mesleğe sahip çıkmak gerekiyor.